What's going on, guys? Rezagun here. So today, we're not doing a review or anything. We're basically just gonna go over a few things that really bugged me about Nintendo back in the day. Uh, Essentially, by if you could tell from the shirt plus the title, uh, Zelda Timeline. Uh, it's a bunch of bullcrap, honestly. So back whenever, God, how long ago now? It's been 7, 8 years, I think, that they said there was a timeline. It's bullcrap. I don't like it. I really don't. Because, like, the way that I see it is that there is no timeline. I like to think that, the title says it all. It's a legend. Legends myths have always been known to change over the years. Like the legend of King Arthur, for example. All right, I love Arthurian legend. So one of the things that they, typically like to talk about is, the Holy Grail, the Sword in the Stone, Camelot in general. Basically, they'll sit there and just continuously tell different stories about how he became king, about how, he was a great ruler and everything. And I love those stories because there's always some different thing of how he got the sword, how he got, how he found the Holy Grail. There's always a different telling. But it always concludes the same way. And if you think about it, the Zelda series is very similar. It tells the same basic story over and over. Zelda gets kidnapped by Ganon or even Vati. Link has to go save her. He goes through all these different temples and everything to collect medallions, collect, whatever he needs. Collect all these different items that he uses over and over. If this was a timeline, especially with direct sequels, he would already have these items. So the way that I see it is that when it comes down to it, like for example, the original Legend of Zelda, right? We're told of Link, how he's traveling to save Zelda, defeat Ganon. You're probably sitting there thinking, well, how could that possibly change? Well, let's go over it a bit. So with the original, you could say that it was being told by, let's just say, the old lady that sells the potions. She meets this great traveler, sells him a potion. He tells her of what all he's done so far. He's fought Octoroks. He's fought, Wingnuts. Yes. He's fought Keese. He's fought all these different enemies. She's like, yes, I like it. And the thing is, without being able to sit there and just type everything down, write it down, whatever, especially back in the day, people would just tell by word. And these words would spread of how, this great hero came to be, about how he's defeated all these different enemies and everything. It's just a different telling each and every time. And like, okay, everyone always likes to go with sequels about how they're connected. And they are. They definitely can be, for sure. Because, think about it. Or heck, even what the original could be told by the old man in the cave. Who knows? Because in the next game, he's still there. He's still telling Link what's going on. He's still saying, hey, Zelda's been put into a deep sleep. Help. And I think that's really neat. It's like, yes, go on. Let us continue this adventure that we've built up so far. But the thing is, people want to sit there and say, no, this happened after this. This happened after this. That's not how it works. You can't just sit there and be like, oh, there's this tiny fragment, from this game that, calls back to this one. It doesn't matter. Tales change all the time. And the thing is, if you know anything about history, it repeats itself. Yeah, it could definitely be in a different time, for sure. But that doesn't mean that's the same hero each and every time. And if it is, then it's just a different telling of the story. Like, we've seen Ganon defeated multiple times over the years. Okay, so where are you going with this? Well, let's look at Breath of the Wild, one of the newest Zelda games out there. Right? So Ganon's been defeated. Link's been put into a deep sleep, just in case Ganon ever tried to resurrect himself to come back again. Well, doesn't that sound kind of familiar? Zelda 2. We don't know how long Link was out. We don't know, what happened with Zelda. We just don't know. There's no telling of beforehand what actually happened. We don't know really much. Yeah, there's multiple stories in the manuals. There's multiple stories in Hyrule Historia, which is really neat. I like it. I do enjoy the book. But that doesn't mean that's just going to be connected because of that. You know? Like, people put Skyward Sword as the first Zelda ever. You know? Why and how? Oh, because they're discovering Hyrule? Okay. Did you know it was Hyrule to begin with in the original Zelda? Did you know it was Hyrule at any other time, really? Not until somebody told you. For all you know, like when it came to Skyward Sword, completely different person. The only reason why it could be connected is because they saw a hero that did something similar to Link. And I mean, I think that's a lot of it too. It's like, you can name Link anything in any of the Zelda games if you want. You know, and I mean, what do you do from there? They call you by your name, unless it's, I forget if it's Link's in the Past or Link's Awakening. But there's one where you end up stealing an item, and they call you Thief for the rest of the game, and that haunts you for the whole time. Would you really want to be, you know, the hero Link? You know, he's a thief. He's a cheat. No. You'd rather be known as Link, the hero. You see where I'm getting at here, though? Like, you go into something like Ocarina of Time, for example. There's a lot of time travel in that. Okay? Well, let's just take a moment here. So we know Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are connected for certain. You know, they made that very clear in Majora's Mask. But the thing is, you know, after that, where do you go? Some would say it'd be, I forget which one, actually. I need to look over the timeline. But what I'm trying to say is, like, with each one, it's a different telling of a story. The same story. You know, and I mean, names change. So it's like, oh, well, you know, going back to how you can change Link's name at any point. Oh, well, the hero's name was Aaron. No, it was Tyler. What was it? You don't know. It just continues to change. And each Zelda game, like, a lot of them do like to tell the tale of a great hero that will defeat evil. It's the same story. I don't know how many times I can say this. It's always the same story. Don't get me wrong, I love the Zelda series. I really do. They're really awesome games, really fun. But at the same time, it's like, why should we have them connected? For any reason at all. I know this is super late compared to, you know, how I could have done this way back in the day. But it was one of those things, like, I decided to choose to talk about it now, mainly for the fact that I've been thinking about it a lot lately. And it's been bugging me like crazy. All I really wanted was just a fun game. You know, fun game with a fun story, fun characters. But no, they want to sit there and be like, oh no, it's the same person over and over. This is whenever he dies. This is if he, you know, survives. No! No! Why does that matter? Why at all does that matter? You know, I can't express enough how much it bugs me. It just all bugs me. It really does. Because, I mean, a few years back, before Skyward Sword even became a thing, there was no timeline. There was nothing. The only reason that I think there even is a timeline is because Shigeru Miyamoto was put under pressure, and they were like, and he was like, yeah, they're connected, totally. Like, at no other point was there any sort of question. It was just a fun series. What are you going to do next? Sit there and put Kirby in a frickin' timeline? No. You're going to enjoy the game. Why do this with Zelda? I realize that a lot of people are passionate about it. But at the same time, why would you want them connected? Why can't you just have it as its own story with a different hero each time? That's the whole point. That's so much fun. But you want to sit there and be like, no, it's the same hero from every game. No! Like, there's a reason with some of the newer ones, like Breath of the Wild again. How you can change Link's outfit constantly if you want. Where'd he get these clothes? Why isn't he in his regular green tunic? Nobody knows. It's another part of the tale, you know? Like, it's just like with Saturday morning cartoons and how they always stay in the same outfit. You know, with Zelda, they tried to do that for so long, and I guess they got tired of it. But at the same time, there could be a very good reason for that. Think about it for a second. If you meet somebody you're only going to remember what they wore that day if that's the only time you ever meet them, especially if you realize that they are somebody of great importance. That's the only way you're ever going to, picture them. Unless, you sit there, you Google them, you do all this. That's not what they can do then. Especially with the time that they put, all the events of Zelda into place. It's not time with computers. It's not time with anything. The only thing that's even relatively close is the Pictocamera, or is it Pictocamera, I think, from Wind Waker, and the tablet that Link has in Breath of the Wild. That's about it. There's no reason to sit there and be like, oh yes, we put him in a different outfit because this is a different Link. No. This could be a telling of, from somebody else. In Breath of the Wild, for example, we could say it's the... Oh, crap. What's his name? I think he's the king in Breath of the Wild. I haven't played in a while. I'll be honest, I really haven't. I didn't even finish it. But, with each one, it could be told by somebody different every time. Like with Ocarina of Time, for example, that could easily be told by the Gorons. With Majora's Mask, that could be told by Skull Kid if they wanted to do it that way. They can do it any way they want. You don't have to sit there and be like, yes, this is how it went down. This is how... No. There's a reason the name of the game is The Legend of Zelda. And the thing is, people are like, oh, that's not even the main character's name. It doesn't matter. It's a story of how Link got to Zelda. It is the journey for Zelda. And I realize I am rambling a lot here, guys, and I am sorry, but this is something that's just been bugging me like crazy. It's a bunch of bullcrap. I don't like it. I don't think I can get that clear enough, There's just a lot of bullcrap that goes on within the video game community when it comes to this. There are people that'll sit there and fight for it. There's some that'll fight against it, like myself. But then nobody really wins, because, Nintendo's like, yes, there is a timeline. But then fans that, wanted to make their own timeline aren't even right, and they're like, oh, no, that's bullcrap. That couldn't have happened there. It happened there. Me, I'm just like, I don't care. I just want to enjoy my game. Why is that so hard? Seriously. I don't know why it is that people sit there and want to say, no, this is all connected. It's not. Quit saying it is. It is not a thing. I don't care what Nintendo says. I don't care what anybody says. I want to enjoy it as its own story. Not as, a single hero that's able to do all this in different time periods. It doesn't matter. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the story. Let it be its own legend. Why does it matter? I think that's all I had to say about this, guys. The next video won't be a rant. It'll be my haul, which hopefully I've had this covered the whole time. So we'll see. Because if not, you got a really good spoiler there. Because I know you haven't seen that yet. But hey, if anything, you know what it is. You know what my favorite purchase was. It don't matter. But that is it for me, guys. I really hope you did stick around long enough to see the end of this. If you did, comment Goosehead. I don't know. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. And take care.